What is going on, sports card fiends? We are back again with another video, and today going to be talking about the U.S. men's national team. They played their first friendlies in about 10 months. It was basically a Euro-only camp for the most part, so a lot of young guys getting some minutes. Had a lot of fun watching, honestly. Our first game, we played against Wales Thursday. That was a 0-0 draw. We played really well, though, kind of dominated the game. Wales or Panama, which was their second game, neither team were playing their A side. We were probably missing 3 starters or so. We probably had our better team than they did in both games, but our team is insanely young right now, which is why I'm really high on the U.S. men's national team players, even though their prices are higher than, other soccer players of equal caliber. That's obviously because they're American, and long-term and even short-term, in the next 2 years there's a World Cup, and 6 years there's a World Cup in the U.S., so ultimately, I'm really high on U.S. players for those reasons and because of their potential, and I think they showed a lot of it in these 2 games. So I'm going to talk about who I thought did good, what cards they have, and what to look forward to going forward. We'll show some highlights too, throw them up there because, honestly, I'm so excited about these guys. You got to see them. But first, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like. It allows, me to know that you guys enjoyed, along with promoting this towards more people. And any thoughts you have, let me know down below because I really want to interact and just talk as much as I can with you guys about cards, because while I'm still learning a lot, I know there's plenty of people out there that know more than me, or even, maybe know a little bit less than me. We want to talk back and forth on what we see. I enjoy it either way. So I'd love to talk out some opinions on these guys. But first, we're going to get started with the worst one. I just want to get the dud out of the way. Most people aren't going to care. I care deeply about this guy, and that is John Brooks. He is our left center back, and he's a little bit older than the rest of the group, in the mid-20s, but he has just been a staple of our team for a little while now. He looks like our best defender, at least as far as a center back goes, so I think he's just going to be a staple of the squad going forward, and his Panini kind of US card from 2015 is what I consider his rookie. Looking on eBay, honestly, I can't find anything earlier than that would make me see otherwise. He has a couple 2015 cards that are nice, and they're basically $1 each, which I could see why spending $1 on a center back that, probably won't mean anything in 20 years seems like a waste, but as far as a U.S. collector standpoint, he has the standout memory from the 2014 World Cup for me when he scored against Ghana, so that alone justifies it, and if he's going to be in the squad going forward, I'm happy about that. As far as what he did good in this camp, he really solidified his spot, I think, and it was kind of already there for him, but his passing was great. The way that we built out of the back was amazing, and I don't think that we're going to get away from that with what he has shown, so honestly, his passing just really impressed me, and Matt Miazga, who played the other center back role, didn't really impress, so relatively I think his stock's up. Then on to probably the biggest bang, not of these friendlies, but of this year for U.S. soccer, and that is Gio Reyna. In the first friendly against Wales, he had a couple instances where he was a little, selfish, I guess you could say, but he's just been at a high level at youth teams. I kind of get it, you just kind of become the guy. And in the second game, he really, maybe to a fault sometimes, passed, because I think he heard the feedback, Maybe he got caught in a couple scenarios where he kept his head down, but I don't think that's who he is. And, if at worst, every now and then he takes a shot too many, if I'm investing in a player, that's fine. And, if you're investing $200 into his Topps Chrome, you might want an extra shot or two every now and then. So, yeah, the Topps Chrome are insanely expensive. Much like other people, I have been wanting to buy some ever since they came out. They were like 60, 80 bucks. I'm like, they'll come down, maybe 40, and then I'll hop in. And no, they're 200 now. Personally, I have a ton of the Dortmund cards that are the black set cards. I think with Dortmund's team, that could be a good set, and I just like the appeal of it. It's kind of an early card relative to all of them. So Gio's spot, though, I feel like is, just kind of solid. That's what I'm getting at with a lot of these guys, is that I think that they have a almost for sure spot in the team and are more so solidifying that with these friendlies. He's really good on the ball. He has such a calm presence. He's knowing where everyone is all the time. He attributes that, I think, to basketball, but you can just tell whenever he gets the ball, he's always taking the first touch in the right direction, away from pressure. And as a U.S. fan, I haven't seen tons of midfielders that can do it to the degree he can, and he just turned 18. So I just think sky's the limit, and if we're on the trajectory of 2026, 6 years from now, could be a 23, 24-year-old star that's just in the making. So much like most people, they love Gio Reyna. People around the world respect Gio Reyna. Like people that actually scout, they respect it. So it's not an American thing, much like some of these other players are. Like no one's clamoring over John Brooks, but Gio, people are, and for good reason. Now we'll get to kind of a newer player that I honestly didn't have a ton of opinions on until recently when he was called into the U.S. camp, and that is Eunice Musa. He plays for Valencia in kind of a midfielder role, kind of more of a right mid, but I think he played left mid for us, if I remember correctly. In most of the games, we had a lot of kind of people switching sides. Our midfield is just full of workhorses right now. We got Tyler Adams, Weston McKenzie, and Eunice Musa at the moment. Eunice Musa is not cap-tied, which means he hasn't played a competitive national game, which would make him be on that team. He is allowed free reign to join other teams as he pleases. I think he's also available for England, Ghana, and one other country, I do believe. So by no means is he tied to us, which is kind of the, part where I'm a bit skeptical because, he could always switch on over to England and then you're not going to have that same U.S. boost in price. But as far as how he played, I mean, honestly, I had seen some highlights and watched some videos on him, but I was really impressed. Like his ability to keep the ball, not like a Gio Reyna, like always attacking, but just possession based and passing and just link up play. Really, really good in midfield. I can't stress it enough. On the ball, physically, he is insane. Like Panama was getting so frustrated, and there was a ton of yellow cards in that game, mostly because our midfield is just workhorses with McKenzie, Tyler Adams, and Eunice Musa. If these three stay there, like, whew, it's going to be something, man. As far as his price, it's $15 for the sticker. I wouldn't really recommend buying right now because that sticker is technically like a 2020 sticker, so there's still going to be plenty of time to print more cards of Eunice Musa. So maybe if you want to get a little bit, go ahead. I got a couple stickers myself for a decent price, and I was happy with it. I'll probably grab more going forward, especially if he starts getting linked more and more to the U.S. While playing for England would be a bigger stage than the U.S., I think the U.S. ceiling is higher just because you can grow the game, there's that degree of it, and also you have less competition than if you're on England, which, you could say competition, iron sharpens iron, sure, but if you're naturally just dedicated and you're playing at club levels where you're gonna still be competing, it's not going to matter internationally if you play in a little less of a competitive area. Like, I think you're still good. Messi's not playing in Euros. He's still a great player. And then if I'm going to just gush about our, workhorses in midfield, I'll talk about Weston McKenzie as well, if you're going to force me to. Again, much like Eunice Musa, but even, I don't know, he's just shown this progression. Like, McKenzie was kind of a center defensive mid, just with a really good work rate. And now, over the last year, and not all at Juve, some people think that this just happened at Juve, he's been getting better, but his passing and just his dribbling and his attacking presence has kind of gone to the next level, which really, I think, makes him, quality all over the field. He oftentimes was kind of getting out to the wing in these friendlies, and, even sometimes would move towards a striker role, which in our first game, we didn't really have a striker, so that's kind of more, the system. But the way Berhalter wants to play, it seems like McKenzie's definitely going to be getting the ability to score and just be an attacking presence, which if you're investing or collecting midfielders or defenders, if they can be attacking in a really good way, that's obviously what you want. Which is why I put Weston McKenzie in here along with Eunice Musa, because I think they're both more attacking rather than Tyler Adams, who I think is going to be more of like our center defensive mid, sometime going back to center back, just playing really, really deep. You don't have that as much with these two, and you have a lot more upside. As far as his card, the 2018 Optic is about $10 raw right now, which I am going to be picking up some of those, I can guarantee. I'm looking at lots. I am looking at Weston McKenzie cards heavily. The other ones I'm not really big on right now. I am big on the U.S. men's national team in general because these Euro guys won't be having a friendly again for a while. The next camp will be mostly MLS players, so if you want to get in on those right now, maybe a good time. But Weston McKenzie, probably the one I'm highest on. because along with the next player, he just has that charisma, the persona that you need to be able to go to, you know, stardom. Like, especially in the US with social media and just people clamoring over personas. And Weston McKennie, he's such a fucking goof. I mean, all over Twitter, like, anytime the US men's national team gets together, you're always just seeing clips of him just being kind of like the life of it all. And that does play a role in card prices. As much as people hate, you know, people looking at followers. Followers are a thing that shows engagement. Weston McKennie has it to an extent now, and I think is only going to grow because the personality's there, the skills are there, he's on a good team. It seems like a really good spot for him, and I am very excited about it as well. And then finally, the last player that I was hyped about out of this friendly window was Sergio Dest. He is a right back, left back, just a fullback in general. He's our best one. He'll play whatever side he has to, depending on who he's getting paired up with. He has that versatility, and he has that versatility because he's good. It's not by necessity, it's just a luxury. And much like Weston McKennie, what I was talking about is like getting forward as a midfielder or a defender is important in pricing because, you know, people really care about what happens in the final third. That's what their eyes see. And from these two friendlies, like, Sergio Dest was at times playing a winger role, just being a very attacking, you know, wingback. But he also could defend. Like, he's not an attacker that sometimes defends. He is, you know, easily a defender. But when he gets attacking, it's just the potential's all there. The dribbling's insane. He has so much flair, and like, I mean, I do I do fawn over people that can, you know, put some good skill moves out there. Just embarrass defenders. He did kind of do that to Daniel James, which was funny. He got fouled, which wasn't called, but beside the point. He's so fun to watch when he's attacking, and just his ability to get back to, it's that much more admirable. And if he ends up playing on the left-hand side, which our better pairing did seem to be Sergio Dest on the left and Reggie Cannon on the right. If that's the case going forward, Sergio Dest will be pushing up with Pulisic, and they'll be linking up, ideally, Pulisic's healthy. If that's the case, people are going to be insanely hyped about Sergio Dest, and as am I. I mean, being on Barca, showing the talent that he has and playing at a good level at Barca, and putting it all together, I mean, it's so nice to see. So these are just 5 of the players that I'm hyped about. A couple others that don't have cards yet, so there's not much to, you know, capitalize on, but just to keep in your mind. I really enjoyed Sebastian Soto's performance. He came on a couple times kind of as a substitute, and we really needed a striker desperately, and he offered that with 2 goals in the game against Panama. Does not have a card yet, but, you know, just keep an eye out over time. They probably won't be that expensive because I do believe he's in the Dutch league. He's in the 2nd tier Dutch league for Telstar. So, surprisingly, not a lot of demand for those cards, I guess. And then Nicholas Joachini as well. You know, no cards available, but did start and played really well, had 2 goals against Panama. Personally, I think Josh Sargent probably is more likely to be a striker than either of these two, but they're kind of the ulterior options to him, so I'm going to be keeping an eye out on if they get cards. So yeah, that's the breakdown as far as this US men's national team friendly window goes. I had a great time with it. I think in the future I'm going to start doing like maybe monthly or bi-monthly updates as far as like our top 10 guys and their prices, and just see how it trends over time, because I'm really interested in watching this. Soccer's kind of a more difficult game to pin down because, you know, a goal doesn't necessarily mean your price is going sky high. It's not like basketball. There's a lot more kind of a bigger macro shift that goes on, and I'm interested to see. So if you guys enjoyed the video, like I said earlier, make sure to leave a like if you guys want to let me know anything that you're thinking as far as, you know, these guys or guys that you're also looking forward to for the US men's national team. Let me know. I've kind of been dipping into MLS guys in preparation for the next window, so that's been fun. And if you guys want to see more videos like this as soon as they go live, make sure to subscribe. But with that said, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and peace. Bye.